Good evening, everybody. I bet you can hear me now. Thank you so much for joining us here at the First Alert Desk. My name's Karli Barnett, and we want to give you a look at some of the stories that we've been following today and a look ahead at what we're following tonight. I wanted to start you out there with that beautiful look over Marietta Square. Hopefully you've been enjoying, this chilly weather, but gorgeous weather. And you can tune in later tonight for our newscasts at 10 and 11. You can find your full forecast there. You can join us at 10 on Peachtree TV and then over at 11 on CBS. It's all Atlanta News First, and if you're streaming us or you're watching us through the app, we so appreciate you joining us here for this quick update. So one of the things that our reporter Joshua Skinner is going to be following for us later tonight, fire displaces several residents at a Cobb County apartment complex. We want to bring you that video now. Take a look at this, just absolutely gutted. Again, our reporter Joshua Skinner, he's going to be bringing us a report on this tonight, but we do want to share what we know so far. Residents were ripped from their homes after flames tore through this apartment complex. This is in Marietta. You can see just that firewall there. That's what prevented it from really spreading, thankfully, to other units. But unfortunately, this building here, just a total loss. The Marietta Fire Department saying they responded to this fire around 11:30 a.m. At this point, it's still too early to tell where exactly the fire started or the cause of it. Now, the good news here, you see all this damage. Nobody was hurt. That is the good news in all of this. But fire officials tell us a total of 22 residents of the Franklin at East Cobb apartments have been displaced. At least 10 units have been impacted. And we spoke to one resident who lived on the second floor, and he said he just watched as his entire apartment went up in flames.
Now it's just like everything is just gone. And I'm from New York. I don't live in Georgia. I'm here alone. I live here by myself. So this is a lot to take in because, like, what I'm going to do next? Like, I really don't have nowhere to go.
Definitely some sad news to report tonight. So many people's belongings, their homes, just destroyed by this fire. But again, if we can focus on the positives, it's that nobody was hurt. Again, this fire breaking out at the Franklin at East Cobb apartments, affecting 22 different residents there. And reporter Joshua Skinner, he's going to have more for us tonight. And you can continue, of course, to check back with AtlantaNewsFirst.com as well as our app for any updates. We want to turn now to a story that we have been following. We have done several stories at this point regarding the Fulton County Jail. And you can go to our website, AtlantaNewsFirst.com. If you search that, you will find plenty of coverage on various stories that we have done. In this latest, a family is demanding accountability following a death. That is their mission. People who knew and loved Davian Blake say they want a criminal investigation done tonight. Blake was stabbed to death in the Fulton County Jail. Here is what family members are asking for tonight.
I miss his presence.
Sonia Marquis says time stood still when she learned her nephew, Davian Blake, was murdered inside the Fulton County Jail in late August.
I didn't know how to feel. It was hard to believe that, something like that would happen to him.
2 months later, the family and their attorney still seeking answers.
The sheriff was aware that these guys were after him, and they put them in the same area.
Attorney Michael Harper says Davian was stabbed 3 times prior to his death, yet he was still placed on the same floor as rival inmates. Those inmates reportedly made shanks out of crumbling jail materials, popped the locks to Davian's cell, and stabbed the young father more than 20 times.
Justice for Davian Blake.
Justice for Davian Blake.
Justice for Davian Blake.
Justice for Davian Blake.
The 23-year-old's death, one of at least 10 at the jail this year.
Something has to be done.
Georgia NAACP President Gerald Griggs says inmates in the care, custody, and control of the sheriff's office deserve to be treated humanely and have their day in court.
We have to be clear. Everyone has constitutional rights, but particularly pretrial detainees should not be put in these conditions.
Sheriff Pat Labat didn't respond directly to questions about Davian's death, but said this when asked if he's doing enough to keep inmates safe.
For anybody to think that we can turn this ship in 1,020 days, which is how long I've been in office, it is utterly absurd if you don't have the support of the commissioners.
People cannot continue to die week after week, month after month, while they're trying to figure this out.
Davian's family, like others who have lost loved ones in the jail, are planning to take legal action. Now, conditions at the jail remain the source of an ongoing civil investigation by the U.S. Department of Justice. And on that same note, there is more news regarding the jail tonight, and that is a clash over money between Sheriff Pat Labat, who you just heard from there, as well as county commissioners. Our Patrick Quinn picks up our team coverage from here.
So
Sheriff, just a minute. Let's try to get through this.
Based on recent history, when Sheriff Pat Labat shows up to the Fulton County Board of Commissioners meeting, expect drama.
There's nothing adversarial about asking for answers.
In a surprise move, Fulton leaders voted to rescind $2.1 million in funding for Talatrex, a provider of wristbands that screen inmates' vital signs.
This is probably one of the worst contracts in my many years of public service.
We learned the wristbands intended to be worn by up to 500 inmates are currently only being worn by 15 people inside the Fulton County Jail. After the vote, the sheriff defended Talatrex and had pointed words at the Board of Commissioners.
It's really a political witch hunt.
This is not a political witch hunt. This is a request for accountability.
Commissioner Khadija Abdurrahman told me it's the job of the county to keep tabs on how the sheriff is using taxpayer funding, especially when addressing the urgent issues at the Fulton County Jail.
We have the power to stop the funding.
The rescinding of funding comes as the sheriff has requested roughly $30 million to move inmates to 2 facilities in Mississippi and South Georgia to ease overcrowding at Rice Street. I asked the sheriff if this vote impacts future requests for jail fixes.
But I've since received texts from across the board about how do we support you. We want to know how we fix this. And ultimately, if any harm comes to anybody that we have now potentially a solve for, then that rests squarely with the BOC.
We know that is a lot of information there. If you'd like to read a little bit more, again, I encourage you to go to our app or our website, atlantanewsfirst.com. But this, as the community is pushing for solutions at this jail, one of those was the wristband solution that they suggested. And commissioners are now accusing the sheriff of spending millions of dollars that were earmarked for that purpose. So again, if you'd like to read more, we have much more on our website. But certainly a contentious meeting today, and this comes on the heels of, as Zach Summers reported, the family of Davian Blake now pursuing legal action as a result of their loved one being stabbed to death at the jail. Turning now to our next story, there was some training that took place today. This was for Atlanta police officers as well as Atlanta firefighters. This is a different type of training, though, maybe than they typically do. And it's talking about how they work with people going through a mental health crisis, even addiction issues. You can see this body camera video in which they are helping a man who was threatening to take his own life. They are training for situations just like this. They're learning how to work with people going through a crisis, going through these addiction issues. And again, this was Atlanta police officers and firefighters. They were at Atlanta Metropolitan State College today, and it was last month, as you see there, an Atlanta officer saved a man in distress. The officer credited his training with knowing how to respond in this situation. And Police Chief Darren Shearbaum says this kind of training makes all the difference. And right now, every officer in Georgia is required to go through 40 hours of crisis intervention training.
Important for us because as we protect the 245 neighborhoods of Atlanta, we want to have compassion and care for every citizen that we encounter. And when you're a department that last year alone responded over 9,000 mental health emergencies right here in the city, this training is key to that.
And you heard from the police chief there, Darren Shearbaum. So again, just trying to prepare for any and every situation that they may encounter to be able to handle it the most effectively. Well, if you've been joining us at all for our coverage here at Atlanta News First, you know it's been a really big week for us out at Assembly Atlanta Studios. I want to share this video now. This is from a little bit earlier today. This is that Assembly sign that is going up. This is some video from earlier. Now, if you join us tonight at 11, you are going to see this all lit up. It's kind of like the Hollywood sign, really. Of course, we are known as the Hollywood of the South here in Atlanta. And we have Atlanta News First anchor Tori Cooper. She's going to be out there for us live tonight. And our show's live from there. And we hope that you will join us for our continuing coverage, because it has been a really exciting week. Whether you want to know about the hair and makeup process that goes into the movies, or what a sound stage does and all of the special effects that go into it, we have so many different stories. If you go to atlantanewsfirst.com, you can see all of our coverage there. And it's not over yet, because we are out there the rest of the week, and we hope that you will join us tonight, not only for your newscast and, of course, the latest headlines, but also our exciting Assembly Atlanta coverage. Just a really neat project to get to be a part of. So we want to leave you here with a shot of Marietta Square. I hope you're enjoying this nice chilly weather. I must say I am. It was absolutely gorgeous today with a lot more sunshine. So again, join us tonight on Atlanta News First. If you join us on Peachtree TV or CBS, or hey, why not both? You can get your full forecast there, as well as all of our top stories. Thanks for joining us, and have a great Wednesday night.